Good morning, and are we going to have a fun time today at Rose Red Homestead? We are going to come clean about laundry detergent. Did you like that joke? Sometimes I, laugh at my own jokes and it's ridiculous. But anyway, I have had a really fun several weeks experimenting with different ways of doing laundry. This is our go-to laundry, Tide. And of course, what we're going to be doing today goes directly to emergency preparedness and also to self-reliance. And thank you for being here. Thank you for putting up with my bad jokes. So this is our go-to laundry detergent, and we have used this for years and years. And this big bucket in this plastic container that ends up in a landfill will do 152 loads according to the front. We have a front loading washing machine, so it takes the low suds formulas of detergent, which this is, it's HE, and it does a fine job for us. I have shown some allergies to some detergents, and we finally found one where I don't break out in hives after wearing clothes that have been washed by a certain detergent. So this one works for us. So one of my fears in figuring out how to do the do-it-yourself laundry detergent is my skin going to react badly to it? And I'm happy to say that it hasn't. And so we're going to share with you what we have done. Now, this costs me about 17 cents a load to do with the Tide. So I'm going to just set this aside because we're done with Tide for today. What remains is the result of my experiments. Now, there are literally dozens, maybe hundreds, of different recipes online for do-it-yourself laundry soap. And some of them are a little different, but most of them follow pretty much of a pattern within certain parameters. For instance, they pretty much all use baking soda, borax, and washing soda in some amount or other. Sometimes one of these is left out, but these are pretty much the three main ingredients, along with soap flakes. Now, soap flakes you can buy in a big bucket. I found a big bucket on Amazon for $45, and I didn't go there. And so the other option is to use bar soap, and some, like ivory flakes, you could use if you wanted to. But a lot of the recipes call for either ivory soap or some kind of a Castile soap. Now, I have used this Kirk's. This is the one. I've not used it before this soap project. So for the past month or so, I've been using Kirk's 100% premium coconut oil Castile soap. Now, there's another one. This is one of the most popular brands. The other more popular brand is Dr. Bronner's. I'm not sure how he says that. But that soap is $5 a bar. This is $2 a bar. And ivory is about $1 a bar. So I started off thinking, knowing my washing machine, that I wanted a liquid in do-it-yourself soaps. And so I was looking for liquid recipes. And I found what I thought was going to be a pretty good one after looking at a whole lot of them and analyzing the ingredients. And it uses all three of these along with a bar of soap. And in the pictures on her website, she shows ivory. So with the liquid soap, with this particular recipe, you start off by grating the soap. Well, I hated doing that. I have a big box grater, and you just grate it like you would a carrot, and it's a mess. And then you add 3 pints of water to a pot, and you heat that water and drop the flakes in the water, and you melt the soap. I don't know why you melt the soap, but that's a different situation. And then after the soap is melted and you've stirred it all together, you add a little bit more water to where you have ultimately about 8 cups if you follow the concentrated liquid recipe. So this is what yielded that with that recipe. Now you can see what happened after it has set. I did this well over a week ago, probably close to 2 weeks ago. And here's the ivory soap at the top, and here at the top. And it makes a big mess. There's little spots all over the place. There's drips down the side, and it's just a mess. And this soap let's see. This soap is just a solid gel. And even though it was melted, it still has clumped together and come back together, and it is really difficult to get it to mix. So every time I would do a washing, I would have to break this up and shake it up, and I finally got so frustrated that I took part of it and put it in my blender. And after I blended it, then I can shake it up like this. So shake up the soap and then measure it out. Now, this was a concentrated formula, and I was, according to her directions, 2 tablespoons for my type of a washing machine, which is low suds. So I washed, I think it was dish towels that I washed. No, it was, our bathroom towels are white, so I washed our hand towels in there, and I often get lipstick on my hand towel, and so I washed a white load that included the hand towel that I had some lipstick on, with 2 tablespoons of this per instructions. Some of the dirt was still left in, and the lipstick wasn't touched, and so even if I doubled this, I wondered, would it work? And then I just decided, this is just too much fuss and bother. I don't want to have to sit there and shake it. Now, she says that it does have a tendency to come together again, and she just gently stirs it. Well, I can't gently stir this. This is really hard. I can't, to break it in pieces enough to where it takes this kind of an action, because shaking it certainly doesn't do it. And so now I get that submerged, and I put the lid back on, and then I shake it. It does not join in with the liquid again. And so what I would have to do is blend all of this in my blender. This one has not been blended, in small amounts to where it would do this. And there is no mention of blending it together in her web page, in her instructions. So this is not worth the fuss and trouble for me. So I am not using this anymore. The one advantage that this liquid has is, after I shake it up in this pint jar, is that I can put it in the soap container in my washing machine, so that it puts water through that and then gets it into the tub. So because it's a liquid, it works well as far as the mechanics of it in my washing machine, but it does not get clothes clean. I bet I could use 2 or 3 times the amount and still it wouldn't get clothes clean. So I'm going to set this aside because we're done with this. I turned my attention then to dry laundry detergent, some of those recipes. And you know what? They're just a kick to read, because most of the dry recipes use all 3 of these ingredients. Now, I want to talk about these ingredients for just a minute. This is regular baking soda, and this 13.5-pound bag was only $9.99 at Costco, and I think Walmart also sells a bag like that for about that amount. Now, the cool thing about this is it was very inexpensive, and so using a very inexpensive ingredient is a plus when you're putting together a do-it-yourself recipe like laundry soap. Now, these 2 are a little bit more expensive, especially this one is, but you can make washing soda from baking soda simply by spreading it out on a baking sheet and putting it in the oven and baking it for a while. It changes the chemical composition. Some things burn off in the heat, and it becomes washing soda. So you could greatly cut down the expense of doing your loads of washing with these 3 ingredients. Now, when I calculated the price per load based on how I had resourced these materials, it was about 7 cents a load. So that's quite a difference from the 17 cents of our Tide. And so it may be worth to consider. Now, in terms of preparing for whatever may be ahead of us, and shutting down of grocery stores if that should happen, I want to have plenty of soap on hand that I can do my laundry. So we have stored some Tide to get us through times like that. So that's one way that we are working on things. Another way is to store these ingredients, and we can mix up our own. Because I found a recipe that, guess what? I love. I washed that same hand towel in this dry laundry detergent, and it came out perfectly clean, lipstick gone, and whiter. And so you can't beat that. In fact, in many ways, I was pleased with the whites to a greater degree than when I washed them with Tide. So I want to give you that recipe, but I want to talk about the chemistry of these for just a moment. The reason that these products work so well in the laundry, and remember back on our video where I asked the question, why store borax? I talked about putting extra borax in my washing machine and how the whites came out much whiter when I used borax along with Tide. Well, the reason for that is it all has to do with the pH of these three products. Now, you all know from our canning videos what the pH scale is. So the pH scale goes from 1 to 14, with 1 being highly acidic, 7 in the middle being water, and 14 on the other end being highly basic or alkaline. Now, in foods, we do a lot with the pH scale. In laundry, here's the information about the pH scale that is really important. Soap is always alkaline. It's slippery. Clorox is way up there on the alkaline side of the pH scale. And if you've ever worked with Clorox with your bare hands, you know that your hands feel slippery with it. Well, so the same thing with soap, because it can lift things. That's what has happened, lift dirt. So the pH of just regular baking soda is between 8 and 9. It's about 8.6 or 8.7. So that's alkaline. It's more alkaline than the Tide is. And so it works to enhance the use of soap as well as with bleach if it is more alkaline. Borax is 9.2, so it's even more alkaline. And washing soda is at the 11 mark on the pH scale. So that is really alkaline. And that alkalinity, that extra alkalinity in a washing load acts to lift the dirt and whiten. All of the recipes that I looked at for the dry laundry soap used these three ingredients in various amounts. The easiest recipe was 1 cup to 1 cup to 1 cup to 1 bar. So that was pretty easy. Others would cut down a half a cup of one or a cup of another one. And so it has been fun to experiment. The recipe that I settled on was 1 cup of this and 1 cup of this and a half a cup of borax along with 1 cup. So this is a 4-ounce bar and it yields about a cup of flakes. So in essence, it is, in many recipes, 1 to 1 to 1 to 1. But we're doing these three things at 1 cup and this at a half a cup. Well, the first thing to do is to flake this soap. I won't grate soap ever again. I just hated doing that. So instead, this Castile soap, like ivory, is very soft. And by the way, I'm just using this as a regular bar soap, and I am loving this. Because it is a soft soap, I can just cut it. It cuts very easily, and I'm just going to cut it in chunks. And I'm going to use my food processor. I could probably use my blender as well, but I just decided I was going to use my food processor. And anything that has this soap on it, it cleans off in a breeze, and you don't have to add extra soap to get it clean because the soap is already stuck there. So that's a plus. So this takes a little bit of doing to get it all crushed up, and it doesn't flake it. It puts it in little teeny tiny balls, and I'll show you that in just a minute. And you just keep doing that until you get it in small enough little balls or pieces, whatever soap you choose to use. And I think that you can experiment with different kinds of bar soap to do this, or just buy that $45 bucket of flakes from Amazon. So I want that a little bit smaller. Okay. So here is a little bit of leftover soap, Kirk's Castile, that I did for one of my experiments previous to this. And so I just want to show you what it looks like when it's done. So it's about the size of half grains of rice. And these little bits will easily melt in the laundry in a load of washing, either just in plain water or hot water too. So I'm just going to add this little bit rather than try to get it back into this jar and set this aside again. So now I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients to the food processor because I want them all blended together. And so it is going to be a cup of regular soda. So this is a half cup measure, so it will be 2 of these. And this is quite lumpy, which is why I want to put it in here again. It's nice having this much soda, but it gets all hard. And so I have to kind of scrape it loose. And it's lumpy. All right, this is done. And then I want to do a cup also of the washing soda. I'm going to use the same cup. So we'll take 2 of these. And we're going to do a half a cup of the borax, also lumpy. Now we're just going to mix the whole thing together. And the soap still is on the bottom, so I'm going to scrape it up and have it join the powders. The powders are all nice now. All right, so now I'm just going to take the whole thing and pour it into this bowl. And there's what the inside looks like. So I'm going to get the soap that has stuck here. Make sure it's well mixed. And then I'm going to put it out here on our little plate so you can see what it looks like all mixed together. So there are the powders with the little tiny bits of soap in. It smells good because it smells like the Kirk's. You can also add essential oils if you want to. I'm just not into essential oils, so I don't bother with that. I just like the smell that it is, and of the Kirk's Castile. And that smell doesn't even persist through the dryer. By the time I take my clothes out of the dryer, they just smell nice and clean without any scent. And that's how I like it. But you can doctor it up however else you might like it as well. So I just keep this in a jar right beside the washing machine shake it up, and I just put a couple of tablespoons. But I have to put the powder directly in the tub rather than in the little place where liquid soap goes. I tried putting it up there because some people said that it works great in my washing machine. Even I just put it where I would put liquid soap and it just washes right through. My machine doesn't wash it right through. It clumps it up into a big lump. And so I just toss the powder right into the drum when I put my clothes in. So I really do like this. It is very easy to make and it does a great job on my clothes. And so that's all there is to it. You can mix up a batch if you are running out of your own detergent and have these ingredients on hand. You can mix up a batch that does a great job. So I hope this is helpful to you. Please share the information that you have with your experience of using do-it-yourself, some of the tricks and tips that if you have used do-it-yourself that have worked for you. It would be such a wonderful thing to share information for those of us who are just starting out on our adventure of making our own soap. So we are a learning community, we share expertise, and this is what we love so much about being a part of Rose Red Homestead and having all of you along with us for all of our adventures. So thank you so much for being with us. We look forward to your comments, and we'll see you very soon for more videos.